You know, what if everything you thought was solid, everything you believed in, was just about to crumble? Today, we're digging into an ancient record about one man who had to face that exact reality and the impossible choice that came with it.
So let's just start with a question for you. Seriously, think about it. If you were convinced, if you absolutely knew your home, your city was doomed, what would you do? How would you even begin to make people listen? And look, this isn't just some random thought experiment. It's the very core of the story we're about to explore. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at who's actually telling this story. Then we'll dive into the setting, a city just teetering on the edge. After that, we get to the heart of it, a father's incredible vision, the terrifying warning he receives, and finally, what happens when he tries to share it.
All right, first up, who's actually telling this story? Let's meet the person who carefully put this all down on paper, preserving this incredible account.
So the whole thing is told through the eyes of a guy named Nephi. He's not just some historian writing from a distance. He's right in the middle of it all. It's his father, Lehi, who is the central figure here, the one who sees it all and has to carry this incredible burden.
And get this. This is a really cool detail. The record itself is written in what's described as a mix of Jewish learning and Egyptian language. It just paints this amazing picture of the time, you know? A world where these major cultures were interacting and blending.
Okay, so we've met our storyteller. Now let's talk about the setting, which is this city that's basically a pressure cooker just about to blow. I want you to picture it. We're in Jerusalem during the very first year of King Zedekiah's rule. This is a real time, a real place, and for Lehi and his family, it's home. But there's something in the air, a tension that's about to spill over into total chaos.
And here's the thing. Lehi wasn't some lone voice crying in the wilderness. There were actually a lot of prophets out there, all trying to get people's attention, all with the same urgent message.
And their message? It was stark. I mean, absolutely no sugarcoating it. It was, you have to change your ways or this great city will be destroyed. That's it. No middle ground. The city was at a tipping point, and a choice had to be made.
Right, so with all that chaos swirling around in public, the story suddenly zooms in, and it gets really personal. It all comes down to one man's prayer, a moment that changes everything. So Lehi's praying for his people, and as he's doing this, a pillar of fire appears and rests on a rock right in front of him. I mean, can you imagine? This is not a subtle hint. It's a direct, powerful, and probably terrifying experience.
And this vision, it doesn't just give him something to think about, it completely overwhelms him, physically. He goes home shaking so much that he just collapses onto his bed, reeling from what he just saw and heard.
And this is where the description in the record gets really interesting. It doesn't talk about what these beings looked like, not in a normal way. Instead, it's all about light. One figure is described as brighter than the sun at noon. The others? Their brightness outshone the stars in the sky. It's a language of pure energy and power.
So, what was the point of all this? Why this incredible, overwhelming vision? Let's get into the message itself. Because it was so important, it required something this dramatic. So picture Lehi. He's still trying to process what's happening when one of these luminous figures comes to him, gives him a book, and tells him to read. And as he reads, he's filled with this spirit, this power, and he finally understands what's coming for his city. And the very first words he reads are just gut-wrenching. Woe, woe unto Jerusalem. It's this cry of anguish. In that single moment, the fate of his beloved home becomes his personal burden to carry. And the details in this book are just grim. We're talking about the total destruction of Jerusalem. Many of its people will die by the sword, and many of the survivors will be dragged away as captives into Babylon. This wasn't a warning of what might happen, it was a prophecy of what would happen. So, that leads us to the final, and maybe the toughest, part of the story. What do you do when you have to deliver a message that nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to hear? Now, Lehi could have just packed up his family and left quietly, right? But he doesn't. He walks right back out there, into the city, stands in front of his neighbors and friends, and tells them everything he had seen and heard. And how did the people react? Well, not great. At first, they just mocked him, probably called him crazy. But when he wouldn't back down, that mockery turned into real anger. And pretty soon, they were actually plotting to kill him. And the narrator, his son Nephi, he points out something really important here. He says, look, this isn't new. His dad was being treated just like all the other prophets from the past that people had cast out, stoned, and even killed. It was a pattern. So there it is. The conflict is set.
Lehi, the man who is given this divine warning in an attempt to save his people, is now a target himself. Speaking the truth has put his own life in mortal danger.
Which leaves us with this huge question, one that really sticks with you. When a message like this gets rejected, where's the failure? Is it the fault of the messenger for how they told it? Or is it the fault of the listeners for how they heard it? And maybe the real question is for us, when we're faced with a tough truth, something that challenges everything we believe, do we listen or do we just turn away?